Hey everyone, it's Sprout here and welcome back to the channel. Before we get into this video, do us a massive favour and like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And today we're going to go through all of the SMGs in Sausage Man and I'm going to rate them for you from the worst to the best based on several different criterias which I've sort of worked out myself. So I'm going to go for the hip accuracy, which is when you're hip firing, the ADS accuracy, which is obviously when you're aiming down the sight, the magazine size, what scopes are available to it, your long range combat with the SMG, the bullet consumption, and the early/late game, how it handles itself. Now what I've done is I've jumped into the training range, as you can see in the background here. And I've tried out each individual SMG in my own playstyle against the several different targets available on the training range, and I've just put the maximum, best attachments on the guns. Not saying this will happen in every game. You'll not always find the golden attachments, but if you do, you want it at the best possible that you can. So hopefully after this video, guys, you can make yourself an assumption which SMG is best. Now, I did mention in the previous video that the Ump Nine is the meta. Now, after this, you might feel it is. However, I think two of the SMGs are currently the meta, and it was hard for me to pick which one would be top. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the video, and you can all decide for yourselves. Guys, I'll be back in a minute. Right, so guys, coming in at number 5, this is the worst SMG in the game, in my honest opinion, is the Tommy gun / Thompson, whatever you want to call it. Now, for the hip accuracy, it's not got the best. It's got a lot of spread unless you're standing perfectly still. And let's be honest, unless you're a bot, you're not going to be standing still when you're shooting. It's just absolutely horrendous. The ADS accuracy is not too bad, but I think the ADS is let down by the availability of no scopes whatsoever. You have to have the iron sight, especially you see in the background there when I tried the long range shooting. I just could not see the level that I was aiming at properly to hit the targets, and it just let it down immensely. Now the magazine size fully upgraded is going to be 55 being a pretty big mag, but at the same time the rest of the gun lets it down a lot. And as you've seen again, long range, the bullet drop is absolutely massive. It's got very good bullet consumption. You don't use a lot of bullets for the RPM that it's got, but other than that, I don't like it. Now, early late game wise for this gun, guys, it's okay if it's the first gun you find, right? I'll pick it up if it's all I can find in an area where I drop and there's enemies around, I need to shoot at them. But as soon as I find something else, I will drop it for the other gun. It's not very good late game. I have seen a couple of people using it late game. They usually get killed by, someone with a pistol, but I'm exaggerating there. But anyway, the actual gun late game is terrible for a lot of the reasons previously mentioned that I've just said. So that for me is the worst gun in the game. Not the worst gun in the game, sorry. It's not the worst gun in the game. It's the worst SMG in the game. Right guys, this next one, a lot of people are going to disagree with us, especially Queenie, because I know it's one of Queenie's favourite guns. But in number 4 is going to have to be the P90. Now, it's not a bad gun as such, but there's just certain things about it that compared to the other SMGs really let it down. Now, the hip accuracy on it is pretty good. And early game, if it's what you find instead of a Thompson, it's really good for, spraying people down that come in close, with the rounds, it's got a 50 round magazine on it, so the mag size is pretty decent for the hip fire, running around, rushing people early game. The ADS accuracy is also pretty good, and of course you can put scopes on it, you can put up to a 3 times off the top of my head onto it, and it does help immensely. Now, long range, it's okay, but the accuracy, it feels a little bit towards spraying at long range, and I find that the vertical recoil is a little bit harder to control with this gun compared to the other ones. It involves me pulling down a bit more on the shooting button just to keep it straight. It's not as bad as some of our ones, don't get us wrong, but that's it. Now, early/late game. Late game, a lot of people do use the P90, but I just think the unavailability of a magazine for it has let it down immensely. If you could put an extended magazine, or even just a fast mag on it, to lower that reload time, would make it so much better. Obviously, I understand that the magazine's different to a regular gun, you have to take it off the top and stuff. Understandable, but because of that reason, it's been given number 4 on this list, because I just don't think the features of it live up to the other SMGs in the game. In number 3, guys, is going to be the Vector. Now, if you're looking for a really fast firing, low ammunition gun, this is the one you want, with an insanely, sometimes hard to control vertical recoil. A lot of things I don't like about this gun, but a lot of things I do. That's why it came in at number 3. Now, the hip accuracy is spot on. Close range hip fire is literally a laser beam. It's a lot like the other 2 in this list. It doesn't have much hip fire spread. The ADS accuracy as well is very, very accurate. It is a close range gun. It's being built for, quick in and outs, shooting the shit out of someone and then getting out of there with a fast reload time. Now, the mag size only pushes up to 25 with the advanced extended quick draw. Now, that is not very much, and obviously its bullet consumption is way up because the RPM is so high. Now, scopes wise, I wouldn't recommend putting anything higher than the 2 times on this. That's just my personal preference. I don't go for anything higher than the 2 times in close range, because I'm not going to use it in long range, because it's got good accuracy, but the amount of shots you get on target at long range compared with its magazine size is very low, and it just knackers it up. Now, early/late game, I would use this gun early game, no bother. Late game, when the zone is small, it still works. But if you're fighting someone across the map, granted, I know you're going to have a secondary weapon. I'm talking hypothetically here, this is the only gun you've got. It's not going to work. It's a close range weapon, and if your gameplay style is close range, it'll be absolutely perfect for you. Right, this next bit, guy, was a hard choice for me, guys, because the Ump Nine has always been my favourite gun. It's the meta of the game, but it's a very tough choice, having been forced to use the Uzi quite a lot. A lot of the time, it's the only gun I can find. I can't find a UMP 9. I know UMP 9s are absolutely freaking everywhere, but there was one game I posted at my TikTok. I was using the Uzi. It's just a complete laser, right? Think Vector, but bigger mag size, right? Now, if you manage to get the stock for this, the Uzi, obviously I've got it in this video. If you look at the hip fire accuracy, even when moving, it's just absolutely amazing. Even at medium range, you don't need to use the red dot or whatever you've put on the top of this, you know what I mean? You can only put a red dot or hollow. You don't need it. You can use hip fire if you want. Now, I used to use the Uzi quite a lot on PUBG Mobile. Very good gun. It is translated over to this one. Also, still a very, very good gun. Now, hip accuracy, like I've said, is spot on. ADS accuracy also spot on. The mag size 35 is pretty well enough, decent enough to kill 1 or 2 people in one full mag without having to reload. Scopes wise, you're only looking at the red dot, but I'll be honest, you don't really need anything more. Long range, I wouldn't recommend it because it is a close range weapon. You can tap fire long range quite effectively, but it's not absolutely necessary. Bullet consumption obviously is up because it's got a very high RPM, but the mag size really makes up for that. In early late game, guys, I'm going to say it's perfect for absolutely both, especially once you get the advanced, quick draw extended mag. It's still a laser, and it's still very good late game. Right, guys, last but not least is going to be the UMP 9, still top of the list, still my favourite gun, with lots and lots of reasons why, but I'm not going to go into every single one of them, obviously. I'm just going to stick to my criteria list as I've done the rest of the video. Now, the hip accuracy does flicker a little bit compared to the Vector and the Uzi, but it's still pretty accurate, especially when you're moving, and that's what you want. You want accuracy while moving, because you don't stand still in hip fire, let's be honest. It's when you're sidestepping, it's when you're circling someone to avoid their fire. Perfect. on target sort of shooting with the UMP 9. ADS accuracy also well up there with the ability to put a decent scope on it. I usually go for either a rare dot or a 2 times. Quite often at the moment I'm going for a 2 times because it does give that little bit of extra, you know, accuracy at medium range. It's a very good medium and close range weapon. It's a bit of a hybrid, if you may. Now, mag size with the extended quick draw mag is going to put you up to 45, which is a canny big size. Even with just a normal extended, you're still looking at 40, which is just shy of the P90, so that kind of makes the P90 coupled with the UMP's, you know, reload speed kind of obsolete, and that's why the P90 scored so low on this list. Now, long range, I have long ranged with UMPs before. It's not very accurate full auto, but it can be very accurate tap firing, especially if you've got a 3 times scope on. So I would rate it quite high for late game, you know, when the zone's starting to shrink and people are at different sides of it. You can tap fire someone to death across the map with it. Now, bullet consumption, its fire rate is not as high as the Vector or the Uzi, so it kind of keeps its retention of ammo a bit better, so you're not just, you know, firing your entire loot's worth of ammo in a couple of rounds. You need to, you know, keep it back a bit for more targets. So it's very good at bullet consumption. And early late game, guys, if I find one at the start of the game, I'm buzzing. If I don't find one, I will pick one up sometime in the game. It's a good gun to have through the entire game. Now, guys, I did mention the mate I may have changed. Now, for me, there's 2 meters, which is obviously going to be the UMP 9 and the Uzi. The other SMGs can, you know, just go somewhere quiet and cry themselves to sleep. But these 2 guns are my go-to, and I highly recommend them. So, guys, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. And make sure you've liked, make sure you've subscribed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.